And I'm going to introduce Sherry Holzbacher, the HLA interim CEO, and she's going to take over from here.
Thank you, Megan. And thank you for covering for me. Zoom did not like me. I had all the passwords, still would not let me in, so I wasn't saying it nicely, apparently. But Gary, thank you as well. I have a son who operates a forklift and it scares the heck out of me. And so I would love to have, it sounds like he needs your trainer, but that's another story.
He's a
Uh,
good one.
Sounds like it. Thank you. I think he was just given the keys and left to go on his own device, and that's not the way to go.
That's how a lot of people learn, but it's
Yeah, yeah. I'll just cross fingers and warn everyone to stay away from him. I've seen him drive. But thank you very much, Gary. So next up we have Youth Education Services, and that's with Erica Gist. She's the homeless liaison with the Pinellas County Schools, and she works with the Helping Educate All in Transition, or HEAT team, the program there that provides educational and social work services to children, youth, and families in transition. So, Erica, are you on?
I am here.
Good to see you. Thank you. I'll
Hello.
let you take it away.
Okay, so will somebody be able to advance the slides? Perfect. So again, yes, I'm Erica Gist. I'm the homeless liaison with Pinellas County Schools. So we are the entire school district. So we are from very South St. Pete all the way up through Tarpon. Um, HEAT stands for Helping Educate All in Transition. So we work with families that are in transition or are experiencing homelessness. Um, a lot of times we try to get away from calling them homeless families. So we usually say families in transition, families experiencing homelessness, or we call them our MVA families, which I will explain MVA a little bit more in a few minutes. We can go to the next slide. So our mission statement, the mission of the HEAT program is to support and advocate for educational success of students experiencing homelessness by implementing the federal McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act and referring to community programs and services. So that's why we call them the MVA families. It stands for the federal act that we operate under, which is the McKinney-Vento Act. It is a federal program. It was enacted in 1987 and reauthorized again in 2015. So we have a couple of main themes under this federal program that we operate under. So school access and stability, we try to provide one child, one school, 1 year. So we try our very best to keep a child in the same school for the duration of the school year. We know our families are very mobile, so we work closely with them to get addresses updated and try our very best to provide transportation. The act aims to eliminate barriers that can delay or prevent homeless students access to public education. So it delineates homeless students' rights. They have the same exact rights as their housed peers. So we want to keep it equitable and quality. So it gives families special rights in school enrollment, transportation, health services, and social services. So they have the right to immediate enrollment, and I'll talk about more of that in a few minutes. We also support academic success. So we provide academic support, academic tutoring in various locations throughout the community. Um, because of the federal act, it helps with elevated attendance rates and also it reduces enrollment related issues. Um, this is a federal act, so it comes down from the federal government to the state government to local districts. Every local district in the United States has to have a homeless liaison. And that homeless liaison has to make sure and guarantee that we are in compliance with the federal laws and that everything is being implemented correctly. Research shows that each time that a child changes schools, it can take that child 3 to 6 months to recover academically. So that's the reason we try to keep them in the same school for the entire year. So if the child is meeting McKinney-Vento at the beginning of the school year, but then becomes permanently housed anytime during that school year, those protections stay in place and that child can remain at that school. For the next school year, then the child would attend the school, their zone school where they are now permanently housed. So even if they do become permanently housed during the year, we still allow them to stay at their school and we try our very best to provide transportation. We can go to the next slide. So this is just a copy of the school board policy. So the Homeless Education Act is written into school board policy as well. Okay, next slide. So with McKinney-Vento, our definition of homelessness is a lot broader than the HUD definition. First thing we have to ask ourselves, does it lack a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence? So when we look at homelessness, we base it on nighttime residence. Is it fixed, regular, and adequate? So our definitions under McKinney-Vento is sharing housing due to financial hardship. So sometimes it's called double up or couch surfing, but again, it's due to economic hardship. It's not going to be an arrangement, but evictions, loss of jobs, those types of things. Also living in motels, hotels, trailer parks, camping grounds, substandard housing due to lack of adequate alternative accommodations, living in emergency and transitional shelters, and abandoned in hospitals. Next slide. Also living in public or private places not designed for humans to live. Living in cars, parks, abandoned buildings, bus or train stations, and migratory children living in any of the above circumstances. Also, if they're living in a home and the home has holes in the roof, that's substandard living conditions, or there's no hot water, or there's holes in the floors. All of those are substandard conditions and qualify under McKinney-Vento. Homeless unaccompanied youth are youth that meet any of the above definitions that we just spoke about, but they are also not in the physical custody of a parent or legal guardian. We have quite a number of homeless unaccompanied youth here in Pinellas County. Sometimes it's due to death, sometimes it's due to incarceration, sometimes parents unfortunately just leave. So these children are sometimes with relatives, a lot of times grandparents, aunts, older siblings. Sometimes it's just a neighbor or a friend. But they still qualify under unaccompanied homeless youth. Wow, that looks totally different than what I had it under. So this graph is just showing the trend for our McKinney-Vento numbers starting in the 2008-2009 school year through the 2024-2025 school year. So before I get into the numbers, this the act or the state looks at our free and reduced lunch rate. And a rule of thumb is when you look at the free and reduced rate, 10% of that number could possibly meet McKinney-Vento status, could possibly be living in transition. So the state says that we should be able to identify 5%. So going back just to the 22-23 school year, we identified 8.5%. The 23-24 school year, we identified 8.65%. Last school year, we identified 9.36%. So our homeless student identification rate is growing. Already this school year, we've identified 3.9%. So we haven't hit our 5% yet, but it's still within the first month of school. And our numbers are growing daily. Each school year, we start at 0. So when the new school year starts, we have to re-identify and identify students again. We can go to the next slide. So he provides assistance with school selection. So with families in transition, they have the right to school of origin, which is the school in which the child was last housed when they lost housing. So they have the right to school of origin or the zone school. Those are the only 2 schools that they may attend. They cannot just pick a school in the county that they want to attend. School of origin or the zone school. They have the right to immediate enrollment, even if they are lacking any needed documentation. So if they do not have their shot records, they do not have a birth certificate, they don't have uniforms, all of those are barriers. They have time to get those things. They have a right to be enrolled immediately. If they show up at the school at 8:30, they have a right to be enrolled and in a seat that day. The HEAT program also verifies homeless status for transportation to the school of origin. The school will request the bus. So the school works very closely with the HEAT program to identify students. Our team is very small, so it's myself, our office clerk, and we have 2 social workers. The 2 social workers split the district. So identifying the number of students that we do, that's a lot for 4 people. So each school has what we call an MVA contact. It's usually a social worker or a counselor, and they are trained by our staff, and they're an extension of us. So each school has an immediate contact on campus. If they run into problems or issues or anything, then they reach out to us for support. If we find out if a student has moved out of zone and they need assistance getting to school while we're setting up a bus, then sometimes we can offer a gas card to the parent to help them bring them to school. Because usually it takes about 3 to 5 days to get a bus set up. Or students can ride the city bus for free, but the parents can't. So we can provide the parents a bus pass to accompany the child to and from school until we can get the bus set up. But that is only offered if they are eligible for a Pinellas County school bus. Also, once they meet McKinney-Vento status, they qualify for a free lunch. We also have a limited amount of school supplies that we can help with. We have limited help with gift cards that have been donated, school supplies and backpacks. We also provide professional development to staff in the school system. We do community presentations and we inform parents of their rights under McKinney-Vento Act. You can go to the next slide, please. So I spoke about this earlier. There's school-based McKinney-Vento contacts. So again, it is the social worker or school counselor, and they work very closely with the HEAT program, also with the DMT, which is the data management technician, and they are the ones that would be assisting with updating the address and requesting the bus. Also working closely with the school nurse, and the school nurse will work with the families to help with getting immunizations or birth certificates. Also with getting, if they need to get into a clinic or somewhere to get those immunizations. Family and community liaisons, and also the school administration. We can go to the next slide. We partner with a lot of different programs. We have different referral processes. So we work closely with students and families in shelters. We work closely with Family Works program. Close to Kids, we refer out to a lot. We refer out to ELC and Head Start. And we also work closely with St. Petersburg College. So we are the educational side of homelessness. So unfortunately, we cannot house people. So all we can do is refer out. So our goal is to develop additional referral processes with other collaborative partners and community health services. So we're always looking for partners in the community that we can refer out to or work with. The next slide. Okay. How can heat help? So again, we refer out to 1-1 Tampa Bay Care, social service agencies, shelters, food pantries, Close to Kids. We do not provide case management. We cannot do housing or rental funding. We don't do utility funding, and we don't do bus or gas cards if they are not eligible for Pinellas County Schools transportation. So a lot of times for additional services, we refer out. So I'm always looking for other agencies that we can partner with and refer families to. You can help us make connections for families and remove barriers to education of our MBA students. So if you have a service or you're a community partner that you think that you would be able to partner with us, the next slide has our contact information. Please reach out. So again, that's the website for the HEAT program, our office phone number. My name is Erica Gist. I'm the homeless liaison and the grant monitor. Brenda Johnson is our clerk, and our two social workers are Joanne Mercier and Amanda Rio, and our supervisor is Lisa DiPaolo. Any questions for me? I know there's a lot of information in a very short amount of time.
If anyone does have a question for Erica, she did have a lot of really great information. If we could hold those for the end of the presentations or put them in the Q&A. We did get started a few minutes or a few minutes late, so we are going to have to move on to our next presenter. But yes, please put any questions you have for Erica and the HEAT team in the Q&A box, or you can email me and I'll put my email address in the chat again for you, and I can forward the questions on to Erica.
Also, my email is on there as well. It's
Yes.
giste@pcsb.org.
That works too. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.